Hey guys, Samuel Boulanger from Power Platform Geek. In today's video, I want to answer a question I receive a lot from my customer: how to easily import or update data into Dynamics 365 using Excel. So today we'll look at 5 different options that you have to do the import or update. The first one will be to use the data import wizard. The second, to use the make.powerapps.com interface. Then we'll look at how to update data using the export import method, using Excel Online, or using the Excel add-in. If you have any questions or any suggestions, don't hesitate to post them under my blog post or YouTube video. You can also reach me on my different social media, and if you like my videos, don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel for more. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with the first option you have to import data from scratch in the system. Okay, so I'll show you 2 different options for creating the Excel template that you'll use to do the import. Okay, so the first one will be to use an active view like this one. Okay, so I want to import my contacts. So I can use this specific view to create my templates. Okay. The template will exactly have the same columns as in this current view, or I can create my own view by clicking on create views and then add my specific column. So the advantage of it is that you'll be able to choose which column, which fields you want for your import template. Okay, so for the example, just use this one. I can click on export to Excel or static worksheet. We'll do the exact same thing, which is to export the current view. So right now it will export all my active contacts with the exact same columns as you can see on the screen. Okay, so it generates me an Excel file, my active contacts, and from there I'll be able to just delete the row. Okay, you need to enable editings, and then you can just delete all the rows you don't need. Okay, if you don't delete all the rows, what will happen if you do modification in the system? It will then modify the existing record in the system. So you don't want that. So just delete them. And now you have an empty templates from where you can input your data. So first name, let's say John Doe at example.com. Okay. And that's it. So from there, I can save my Excel file. Okay, so new contacts, and I'll be able to use it for importing this new data. So this line, okay, John Doe. To do so, I will use the data import wizard. Okay, but just before I'm going there, I just want to show you the second option that you have to create your Excel template, which is to use the data import template creator. Okay, you have 2 ways to access it. Either you go there in the settings, advanced settings. It's the classical way of doing so. Okay, so if you're more familiar with this interface, you can go into settings, then data management, and then template for data import. Okay, the second way, okay, which is the new way, is to navigate to admin.powerplatform.microsoft.com, which bring you to your different environments. Then you select the environments you want to import data in. Then you click the 3 little dot and settings, or you can click settings there, one or the other. Will bring you to the new admin, the admin center. Okay, from there you can navigate to templates, and you will have data import templates. Actually, both will bring you to the exact same page, which is the creation of your data import. Okay, so now you select the entity, contact, then you click on download. Now the system will create me a new Excel file containing all the different columns or fields that I have on form in the system. Okay, so if the field is not on one of your form, or if it's not mandatory, okay, so it's one or the other. Actually, it's both. The field will not appear in the different columns there. Okay, so it's showing me right now all the fields that I have on my forms are which is not in my form, but is mandatory, okay? So from there, I can start inputting my data, and each of those cells will have the correct format to be able to import it in the system. Just click on enable editing. And now you can see, okay, so this one is a text field, this one is an option set. It will give me the different options, okay? So it's really easy to use. You can delete the rows you don't need. So if I just want to keep first name, last name, and company name, I can delete all the other columns, okay? It's have no impact on the import. So again, I can just, let's say Jane Doe and business phone, so, oops. Okay, now I can save this file. Okay, so both way will work to import new data in the system. Okay, so new contact, just call it 2. Now, you want to import it, obviously. So to do so, you will navigate back in the system, in the settings, admin center, and you will go to data management, and you should see import. Here we go, import. And just strange thing, just go back a second. You have the import there where you can click on import data, or you can also go and click on data import wizard. Both will bring you to the exact same page. Okay, I don't know why there's 2 options, but it's how it looks. If you want to use the old way, you can always navigate to your advanced settings. Data management, and click on import. Okay, so it all bring you to the exact same page, okay, which is the import page. So that's where you'll be able to see if your import has error or partial failure, or if there's a success. Okay, so let's click on import data. Okay, select your file. So there's the 2 files we created. The first one we created by exporting an active view and delete the rows, and the second one we've used creating the data import template creator. So oops, I'll just have to close both of those files. There we go. And next. So the file is uploaded. I can just click on next again, and the system will tell me if there's unmapped field in the Excel file. So actually the system recognizes which fields should be matched to which cell in your Excel spreadsheet. In some cases there's no match, like full name has no match. It makes sense. Full name is not a real name, it's a real field, it's a concatenation field, which don't really exist in the database, so I can just let it as unmapped. Okay, so I can click next. If you have any other fields that aren't mapped, the system will tell you. So you can just click on show all, show unmap. So that's the only one I have right now. So it's possible that you have a template with different column names for whatever reason, and the system don't know how to map them. So you'll have to map them manually. Okay. In that case, I don't want to map this one. I just click on next. Then next again. You can allow or don't allow duplicate in the system, so it will be based on your specific duplication rules that you have in your system. Okay, so normally I don't want to allow duplicate, so I'll just click on submit, and from there it's been submitted for import, and I can monitor them directly from this page. So my import, you can see that new contact XLS has been submitted, okay, and I have a timestamp. Now I can use the exact same way to import the second file we created. So new contact 2 that we created using the data, the template creator. So click on next again. So in that case, there's no unmapped field because that's a template that have been created by the system. So you don't need to map them. You just click on submit. And the same thing, you'll be able to monitor it from there. So let's just refresh. As you can see, the first one has been completed, the one has been processed, and one has successed. Okay, if you had errors, okay, or partial failure, you can double click on the line. It will open this window from where you can monitor what are the failures. So if I had failures, I will see a detailed message showing me which column, which value, and why it failed. Okay, so from there you can always restart your import. So exactly the same for my second one. So it's been completed and it has success. Okay, you can, if you need, so if you had a partial failures or errors in your import and you want to start it from scratch again, you can click on delete all imported records from the zip file or all imported records to the entity during this import. Okay, so it will remove all the different records that has been created during the import. Okay, so that's the easiest way to do if you have error in your import. Normally I just delete all of them, I correct the errors, and then I redo the import depending on how you want to work. Okay, second option you have to import data in the system, it's the one I prefer. It's by using the new makes.powerapps.com. Okay, so you just type makes.powerapps.com, which bring you to your customization portal. Okay, and from there you can navigate to the entity for which you want to do an import. Select the entity. So contact, there you go. And from there, you'll have two options, okay? You can click on get data or get data from Excel. If you click on get data, you can import data in this entity, so in contact, from multiple places. I just want to show you, I don't want to cover that part today. There's a lot to say, okay? But just to show you, you can export from other database, from SharePoint list, from Access, okay? So you have a bunch of options to do your import, okay? But for today, I just want to cover the Excel part. So just cancel. So I'll choose get data from Excel. And from there, I can upload a local file that I have on my desktop. Okay, but the advantage of using this option is you can import data from blank Excel files. So just to show you, if I go on my desktop, I have blank import. So now I have this Excel file with the first name, last name, email, and phone. Okay, but it's not formatted at all. Okay, so it's not a table. It's just text with header, which is not formatted. Okay, so if I want to import this file using this method, I'll be able to do so. So just click on upload, blank import will upload, and then it will ask me to map the fields, because obviously the system don't automatically know which field is mapped to which shells. Okay, so mapping warning exists. I just click on map fields. From there, I'll be able to map my different fields. So I just select on map fields. And so those are mapped, those are unmapped. Okay, so now it's showing me all the fields from the systems, okay, which are not necessarily in my Excel file. Okay, so I can select which is this field with error. No. Okay, so let's go with phone. So business phone, I can map it to phone. Okay, so I have from my source file fields, I have a column called phone. Okay, that I want to map with this one. Then I want to map the email. Okay, so from there I can see that first name, last name, and phone has been mapped. This one is unmapped, so I can just select it, and now all my different fields are now mapped in my import. So I can just click on Save Change. and then I can click on import at the top right. I was looking for it. So there you go. You click on import and the import will be done the exact same way as with the data import. Difference there is it will not actually will auto duplicate, so it don't look for my duplication rules. Okay, so it will import whatever data I put in this in the Excel, will create duplicate if there's some. Okay, so that's probably the only disadvantage of using this option. I prefer it because you don't have to format the file, or you don't have to export it from the system, but it's more an advanced way of importing data in the system. Now let's look at how to update data in the system using Excel, but you can also use those three methods I will show you to create new records in the system. So the first one is it's to export and re-import. Then it's to use Excel Online, and finally I'll show you how to use the Excel add-in. Okay, so let's start with export import. Let's go back in my contact view there, and this one is pretty easy. So you just want to click on static worksheet, so you'll export your data again. Then, you open the file, enable editing, and from there you can just update your data. Okay, just as an example. And you have to pay attention to don't remove the Addin column, and I'll show you why if I just unhide them. There's a GUID there, okay, and that's what the system is using to refer to the existing record that you have in the system. Okay, so that's each of those records have a specific GUID, and if you delete those columns, the system will not know if to which records import the data and update the data. So it always have to stay there. So one of those columns are to refer to the existing record in the system, and the other one is to know when was the last change in the system, because you don't want to overwrite data in the system. So let's say I'm modifying information in this file, and at the same time one of my colleagues is doing modification in the system will know, because of those columns, when was the last time it was updated. Okay, so based on that, it will not let the system update over what your colleague have done in the meantime. Okay, so let's just rehide them, and I've made my modification. Now I can save my file. Contact modified, and save it on my desktop. And from there I can just go back in the system and click to import from Excel. Okay, so there's just a little tricky things there. If you click on the down arrow and click on import from CSV, you'll not be able to re-import your data, because actually that's an Excel file we've just created. If you have a CSV, that's good. You can save your Excel file as a CSV and then re-import it. But just pay attention to click on the button. So the button itself there is import from Excel, and this one is import from CSV. Okay, so if you want to import an Excel file, click on this one, not on the down arrow. Then you choose your file, you go to active contact modified, open, next. Okay, you can review the mapping if needed. Again, I only have the full name, which is not a real field, which is on map, so I'll let it that way, and I click on finish import. Okay, so it's telling me that there's a field that are on map, so that's okay. I know, I confirm, and I'm done. If you want to monitor how the import is going, you can navigate to the import window where we were actually there, and you'll be able to monitor it. So if I refresh it, you can see that my active contact modify has been processed. Now it's parsing, and at some point it will import them. Okay, so again, if there's success or failure or errors, I'll be able to monitor it directly from there. Just see. So now it's transforming. So I'll let it roll and I'll show you another option in the meantime. Okay, so that's the first option you have to update data in the system, or to actually create some. I could have added some rows to this Excel files and the system will have created this new record in the system. Okay, so you can use it for in both ways. Okay, just let's refresh. Okay, we'll let it go and come back later. So if I navigate back to my active contact view, now the second option you have to update your data, or again to create new records, is to click there on the down arrow next to export to Excel and to select open in Excel online. This method will let you edit the data directly from there, so from this window, and then to save it back into the system. So as you can see, actually those import have completed while I was speaking, because now AB and Addin have tested at Addin Corporation. Okay, so the import has worked. Now if I want to, I don't know, let's call them back. Now it's called Samuel Boulanger. So if I want to rename it, which don't really make sense, but it's just for the example, I can do it directly from there. If I want to add a new rows, I can scroll down and add my new rows. So let's say John Doe. Call it 2 because I already have 1. So John Doe at example.com. Okay, so I can add row directly from there. I can also copy paste from another Excel files if needs to create new records in the system. When I'm done, I just click on save, and that's it. The file will be submitted as a normal Excel file in the import wizard. So again, if I want to monitor it, I can just go back there. I click on OK. I go on my import. I just refresh. Oops. And as you can see, the Excel Online My Active Contact with the timestamps has been submitted. Okay, you can see that the one I've just done before has been completed, so that's why you've seen that the email address has been updated to test. Okay, so let's go back there and click on, where's the refresh? Here it is. So test, and one of I think this one will be renamed when the import will be complete. Okay, so now the last option you have to update data in the system or to import data will be to use the Excel add-in. Okay, so the Excel add-in will let you export Excel spreadsheet, which is directly connected to the CRM. So you'll be able to do the modification or to create new records directly in the Excel spreadsheet and then save it back into the CRM. To do so, you'll navigate to make.powerapps.com. Again, then you will navigate to the entity for which you want to do the import. So data entities. And by the way, always make sure you're in the correct environment at the top right there. Okay, so if you have multiple environment like myself, make sure you're in the right one. Okay, because you can, if you want to test it and you want to import in the dev environment, make sure you're in it and you're not connected to production. So you select your entity, in that case contact, click on edit data in Excel. Will generate you a new Excel spreadsheet with a direct link to your CRM. Click on enable editing, and now you will have this add-in which will load and let you connect directly to the system. Okay, so from there it show me all the information that I have in this entity, so I can see all my contact, okay, active, inactive, whatever it is. It's not the same as when we were using a view. There's no filter on this spreadsheet. For each of them, you'll be able, so for instance there, I have an option set, so it will show me the different option I have. Okay, so for each of those there, I have active, inactive there. It's a lookup value, so I'll be able to see the different lookup value in the system. So it's really easy to use if you want to refer to lookup and if you want to modify data. Okay, obviously if you want to do it in bulk, depending on how you work, it could be a little bit trickier. But to do small modification, for me, it's my preferred method. Okay, so I can use, let's say, John Doe, or John Doe 365. Okay, do my modifications. Change is constant. Now it's transactional. So it's a good example if you want to do bulk modification for the consent if you're using marketing. So I can do any modification I want, and when I'm ready to push it back into the system, I just click on publish, and now it's publishing in the system, and that's it. Okay, so that's really easy to use. If I go back in the system and I'm looking for, let's go back in marketing. Let's export the data directly from there. I don't know why, but my link seems to be broke, but whatever. Let's look at the data there. You can see that if I'm looking for John Doe, I have my John Doe 365, which has been updated. By the way, if you didn't know, you can explore your data directly from there. So you can go in the entity, then in the data, and you'll be able to see the different information, okay? The only thing is that the different roles are pretty limited. So maybe you're better to go in the system directly, but for a quick view, that's a good method. Okay, so that completes the different methods I want to show you. So there's 5 methods you can use, 5 options you can use to import or modify data in the system. I hope it's helpful. If you have any suggestions or questions, don't hesitate to contact me on my social media, comments directly in the video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I will release more of these videos, and if you have any suggestion, don't hesitate to get in touch. So thank you for watching.